Listen, if you've been asking yourself, why am I going through all of this right now? This video is for you, okay? Don't let what you're facing right now convince you that nothing good is about to happen for you. This chapter, it may be difficult, it may be dark sometimes, but you are going through this for a reason. Now, it feels like you're trying to build while life keeps taking. That's what it feels like. It feels like money goes out before it comes in. It feels like something always needs to be fixed all of a sudden. But you know what's going on? You're finding a way to build with what remains, okay? Now you're going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. You're watching other people celebrate while you're still waiting. You're seeing their breakthroughs happen. You're watching other people's life move forward. But you know what's going on? You're learning not to measure your timing against theirs, okay? Now another one would be, you're doing everything that you need to do, yet you still see no movement. You're showing up consistently. You're putting in the work, aren't you? But you know what's going on? You're learning to keep building before the results become visible. Okay, that's what's going on. Now, another one would be, you've had to become very, very resourceful because you didn't have enough. Okay, you learned how to stretch that last dollar. You found solutions that nobody handed you, but you're discovering abilities that you may have never developed in your comfort zone. Sometimes the universe will force you out of your comfort zone so you can learn new skills that you would need to take with you into this next chapter that you're about to step into, okay? Now you're going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. You're carrying dreams that your current bank account can't explain, okay? Your current circumstances, they look small, but your vision, it looks enormous. But you're refusing to let today's numbers determine tomorrow's possibilities, okay? Now another one would be, you've had to choose which problem gets handled first. This bill or that bill, this responsibility or that responsibility. But you're learning how to prioritize under pressure, okay? Now, another one would be, you're tired of always having to figure it out, aren't you? There isn't always an easy answer. You're starting to learn this. You're starting to learn that nobody hands you a solution every single time. Yet every time life corners you, you still find another way, don't you? That's resilience. That's strength. Okay, now you're going through this for a reason. All right, here comes your blessing. One expected expense can change your entire week. Something breaks all of a sudden. An emergency happens all of a sudden. But you're learning why financial freedom means more than just simply having nice things. Okay, you're learning this. All right, now another one would be, you've been forced to learn what you can actually live without. Okay, things that you thought you needed so much. Expenses that you never ever questioned. You're discovering the difference between comfort and necessity during this dark phase that you're going through right now. Okay. Now, another one would be, you're starting to understand the difference between looking rich and actually being free. Okay. Appearances, it's like they impress you less. Debt, it looks different to you right now. You're becoming more interested in freedom than proving something to somebody, right? Now, another one would be, it's like you've had to keep your dream alive while reality keeps contradicting it, okay? The vision says abundance, but your circumstances, it hasn't even caught up yet. But you're learning how to hold a bigger vision without denying where you are today. Okay, that's what's happening, right? Now, another one would be, you're learning how expensive the wrong decision can become, okay? One rushed choice, one bad agreement, all right? You're gaining wisdom that you can carry into every financial decision, all right? Now, you're going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. You've had to start without feeling like you're actually ready, okay? Something didn't work. Circumstances changed unexpectedly, but you're learning that starting over doesn't always mean that you're starting empty-handed, okay? You're coming with new knowledge. You're coming with new wisdom. All right. All right. Now, I'm telling you, you are going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. You've been forced to separate from what you want from what you truly need. Okay. Priorities, it's like they become clearer to you. Okay. Impulses, they get challenged during this phase, but you're becoming more intentional with what you have. Okay. I'm telling you, you are becoming more intentional with every decision. You're becoming intentional with everything right now. All right. Now, another one would be, you're discovering how much of your life was actually built around financial fear, jobs that you were afraid to leave, opportunities that you were afraid to pursue. Okay. You're beginning to recognize where fear has been making decisions for you all your life. And people don't realize that fear runs their life. They're making every decision based off fear. Just that's living in survival mode, okay? Now I'm telling you, you're going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. You've had to say not right now to things that you really, really wanted, things that you thought you really wanted, okay? You've had to say no to trips. You've had to say no to purchases, things that you wanted. But you're learning that temporary sacrifice can protect a bigger goal. It can protect a bigger dream, okay? A bigger vision, all right? Now, another one would be you're learning to create without having the perfect setup, okay? You're learning to create with limited resources. You're learning to create with limited equipment. But you're proving that progress doesn't always have to wait for the perfect conditions or the perfect time or the perfect equipment. Right now, you're just taking inspired action, aren't you? I'm telling you, nothing is going to be perfect when you start. But as you keep going, it's going to become perfect. All right. Now, I'm telling you, you are going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. All right. You've been forced to look at numbers that you used to avoid. All right. You're being forced to look at what comes in. You're being forced to look at what goes out. But you're finally seeing clearly what needs to change financially in your life. OK, you're being forced to see this right now because you have to become this version of yourself that has this knowledge that you need to take into this next chapter. All right. Now, I'm telling you, you are going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. You're discovering that being busy and moving forward, they're not the same thing. All right. Your schedule stays full. Your energy stays drained. Right. You're learning to focus on what actually moves your life forward. And right now you're choosing to do things that protects your energy in the process. All right. Because your energy is very, very important. All right. Now you're going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. All right. You've had to make important decisions without knowing how it's truly going to turn out. No guarantees, no perfect answer. Right. But you're learning to trust yourself while thinking carefully, okay? You're learning to trust your intuition. You're just learning to trust your instincts, all right? Now, another one would be, you're learning what happens when motivation disappears during this dark phase. The excitement phase, it fades out, okay? Nobody pushes you. You're discovering whether discipline can carry you when motivation can't, okay? That is a skill that you're learning right now, okay? Now, I'm telling you, here is another one. You've been tempted to go back to something that you have already outgrew, okay? Because it felt familiar, because it's predictable, okay? But you're realizing that familiarity isn't always the same thing as alignment. And right now you're choosing to stay aligned. You're choosing to just be around things and be around people and just all of your goals. Everything has to be in alignment right now, right? And you will start seeing the number 1111 or 111 when you are in alignment, all right? Now I'm telling you, you are going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. You've had to keep creating while your personal life was very, very difficult, okay? The responsibilities, they didn't stop. Your goals, they didn't disappear. But you're learning how to keep moving without pretending that everything is okay. And you're learning to trust that everything is going to work itself out in the process, right? Now, another one would be, you're learning how quickly money can expose what was never stable in your life, okay? Plans, it's like they become very, very obvious. Weak plans become very, very obvious. Bad habits, they become expensive, and you're starting to notice this, okay? You're being shown what needs a stronger foundation in your life, all right? Now, another one would be, you've had to become your own backup plan, okay? Nobody could rescue every situation. Perfect timing, it never arrived. But you're becoming someone who knows how to respond when plans change, okay? You're learning how to do this. I'm telling you, that is a needed skill, all right? When all of this financial freedom lands in your life, you're gonna need that, all right? Now, another one, it's like, you're realizing that some of your greatest lessons came from not having enough. It came through adversity. You learned value. You learn priorities, okay? You learn how much you could accomplish with limited resources. I'm telling you, when you go through periods of adversity, it gives you so much strength. It gives you so much resilience, all right? It just gives you a lot, all right? Now, another one would be, it's like you've had to turn embarrassing moments into education, okay? Something that failed publicly, or somebody that saw you struggle, or something like that. You're learning to take each lesson without carrying the shame. And you're starting to learn that, man, I'm human, they're human, We all go through the same thing, right? And you're not embarrassed about things anymore like you used to be, okay? Now, you're going through this for a reason, all right? Here comes your blessing. You're learning not to spend tomorrow's money to feel better today, okay? Emotional spending, it gets exposed during this dark phase. Instant gratification becomes less attractive during this dark phase. You're learning to protect your future from just temporary emotions, okay? That's what's going on. Now, another one would be, you've been forced to admit when something simply isn't working in your life anymore. An old strategy, an old approach, right? You're becoming willing to change without abandoning the goal, okay? I'm telling you, that's what's happening right now. Now, another thing that's going on with you right now, you're starting to notice where your money has been leaking. You're seeing this right now. Small related expenses, convenience purchases, all right? You're becoming more conscious of where every dollar actually is going, okay? And this is something, you're evolving into this future wealthy version of yourself, okay? You're watching that money, okay? Telling you. Now, another one would be, you've had to learn how to hear no without hearing never, okay? One rejection, it hurts. One opportunity closes, but you're learning that one closed route or door, it doesn't eliminate every single opportunity that's about to happen in your life. You're starting to realize that you're actually being redirected towards something better, okay? You may even say that to yourself. This didn't happen for me, so something better is about to happen for me, right? Now, another one would be, you're learning that some opportunities cost more than they pay, okay? They consume your time, they drain your peace and take your energy. You're beginning to calculate value beyond the paycheck, okay? You're more focused on protecting your energy and just your peace versus going for whatever opportunity that you can go for, okay? Now, another one would be, it's like, you've had to keep going after something that you were sure it didn't work or something like that, okay? It's like you believed in it and you were forced to keep going. You invested into something and you didn't know if it was going to work, but you kept going, right? You're learning how to recover without allowing one failure to define you, all right? And a lot of the times people let failure, it scares them. They live in fear. When they fail one time, it's like they don't keep going. It's like, man, I already failed. I know it's not going to work, so they don't try it again. But you don't mind trying things over and over again, do you? I'm telling you, that is strength. That is the future wealthy version of yourself that you are becoming right now, okay? Now, you're going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. You're discovering who you are when nobody can promise you a reward, okay? Nobody's applauding to you. Nobody's guaranteeing you success or anything like that. You're learning whether your vision matters when the reward is when it's not immediate in your life. Even if you don't think that there's going to be a reward, you're still learning to trust, all right? Now, another one would be, you've been forced to become good at something that you never planned to learn, okay? It's like necessities, it demanded it, all right? Nobody else could handle it for you. What began as survival may become a skill that you carry into your next chapter. A lot of the times when you learn things in your life, it is a skill that you are going to need in this next chapter that you're about to step into, all right? Now, another one would be, you're learning to stop treating every opportunity like it's your last, okay? Pressure, it creates desperation, and desperation can discomfort. It can make you feel discomforted. It can distort your judgment at the same time, all right? But you're learning that saying no can sometimes protect something better, okay? Sometimes you just have to build those boundaries. You just have to say no to certain things, all right? Because I'm telling you, you will have a better outcome. If your intuition is telling you, you know what, that's not for you, don't go for it just because it looks like easy money, all right? If it's something that's going to drain your energy and drain, it's not worth it, all right? Now, I'm telling you, you're going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. You've had to watch a plan fail without letting the dream die with it, okay? It's like the method failed and the method failed, all right? But the destination is still mattered for you, okay? And you're learning to separate the dream from the route that you originally chose, okay? You're starting to notice, you know what? There are different ways to get to this destination. Just because this way didn't work, doesn't mean that I'm not going to take this way to get there, okay? Right now, you're determined to make it happen, aren't you? You know it, you feel it, right? Now, I'm telling you, you're going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing, all right? You're discovering what happens when there is no shortcut, all right? You learn the entire process when this happens. You understand how things actually works when this happens. You're building knowledge that stays with you even if circumstances change, okay? You're building that knowledge, all right? Now, another one would be, you've had to produce on days that you didn't feel powerful, okay? It's like you were tired, life was distracting you all the time, but you're discovering that consistency doesn't always require you to feel like you're ready or to feel perfect first, okay? Just being consistent, taking those little steps, doing it even if you don't feel motivated, that is what is going to create that reality, all right? Now, another one would be, it's like you're starting to recognize the cost of staying the same. Another year passes and you're noticing this. Another opportunity disappears. You're noticing this. You're realizing that avoiding change, it can have a very, very high price, okay? Avoiding change, avoiding stepping out of your comfort zone. There is a high price to pay for that, all right? Now, another one would be, you've been forced to make something last longer than it was supposed to, okay? This can be your money, it could be your resources. You're being forced to make these things last. You're becoming more creative with what you already had, with what you already possess. A lot of the times people, you know, when they've had something for so long, it's like they don't feel like it's valuable anymore. It's no more value in it for them, right? So they just let things go. But you're not doing that, okay? You are actually just really just holding on to things and you are just using it to the max right now. I'm telling you, that's very, very powerful, all right? Now, another one would be, you've had to become creative because the obvious route wasn't available, okay? Plan B, it became necessary. Limitations forced you to think differently, okay? You're discovering possibilities you might have never noticed on that easy road, all right? On that easy road. Now, you're going through this for a reason, all right? For a major reason. Here comes your blessing. You're realizing a financial blessing needs somewhere to land, okay? And it's going to happen from better habits. It's going to happen from better decisions. You're preparing yourself to manage more wisely than you did before, okay? Because the wealthy version of yourself, I'm telling you, moves different, talks different, thinks different. Every single day, you're becoming that version, all right? Now, I'm telling you, you are going through this for a reason. Here comes your blessing. You've had to stop waiting for the perfect conditions, okay? The timing wasn't ideal. The resources weren't complete at the time. But you're learning that sometimes clarity comes after you begin moving, after you take inspired action, okay? Now, another one, you're discovering that losing one route doesn't mean losing the destination, okay? Jobs can change, plans can change, right? Everything like that can change, but you're learning to stay committed to the destination while remaining flexible about the road, okay? About the way to get there, all right? Now, another one would be, you've had to recover without mentally returning to zero, okay? It's like you still have experience. You still have knowledge, right? It's like you're realizing that starting again with wisdom isn't the same as starting from nothing, without all that knowledge, without all that experience, without all that wisdom, okay? Now, you're going through this for a reason, all right? Here comes your blessing. It's like your hardest season is teaching you what greater financial responsibility could require, okay? That's what it's teaching you right now. Patience under pressure, better judgment, that's what it's teaching you right now. You're developing habits that can help you handle more responsibility when it arrives, all right? When it arrives. Now, another one, you've had to keep your vision alive longer than you expected, okay? It's like past the excitement, past the disappointment, you're learning whether you can still believe in your vision when the timeline changes. A lot of the times when people believe in something for so long and it doesn't happen, I'm talking about years, okay? Let's talk about like winning the lottery. They'll give up, okay? There was a time when they really, really believed, I'm gonna win the lottery, I know it. And when it didn't happen year one, they lost some of their faith. When it didn't happen year two, they lost some of their faith. When it didn't happen, it's like they just lost it all, right? And it's very important no matter what. Even if it doesn't happen in year 1, year 2, year 2, 3, whatever, it's going to happen, all right? If you had a vision of yourself winning the lottery, if you had a dream of yourself winning the lottery, okay, continue to do the work. This is very, very important, all right? Now, you're going through this for a reason, all right? Here comes your blessing. It's like you're still here after everything that made you consider quitting, okay? The money got tight. You didn't win the lottery. The road got harder than expected, okay? And somehow a part of you still believes that your life is about to change. I'm telling you, this is very, very powerful. You have to continue to believe no matter what, all right? And that's what I want you to remember, all right? You've already survived the days that you didn't think that you can handle. Don't allow a difficult chapter to convince you that you've seen the best of your life, okay? That you've seen that the best that life has to offer, okay? I'm telling you, keep your faith, keep moving, stay ready for whatever opportunity, whatever blessing, whatever breakthrough that your next chapter may hold. Because a lot of the times you will go through a lot of these things. You'll go through adversity. You'll go through times where you don't feel like it's going to happen. You're going to go through a lot of resistance. You're going to go through a lot of doubt, a lot of disbelief, okay? But as long as you remain focused, as long as you continue to do the work no matter what, it is going to happen, all right? Divine orchestration, divine timing, all right? Now, thank you so much for tuning into Millionaire Mindset, where everything happens in divine time by divine design, but you are the divine design. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment on this video, and hype this video up. Until the next video, Millionaire Mindset signing off.